Welcome to
Hi.
this webinar. This is Shubham. I am Product Marketing Manager at Zozo. So, we have Rajesh Raju, co-founder at Cyro, Piyush Agarwal, VP of Product Management at Zozo. So, in this webinar, we would be talking about dominating customer experience. Specifically, I would be talking from marketing standpoint, and Piyush and uh, Rajesh would be talking about overall company standpoint. So let us introduce both of the speakers that we have. Hi, Rajesh. Hi, Piyush.
Hi, Shubham.
So
Yes, hi
just a quick
Shubham.
introduction about yourself, and then we can start on the topic.
Hi. So basically, I'm one of the promoter of at Cyro. So I head the entire operations and sales and some few department end-to-end businesses. And Cyro is again a 5-year-old company. So glad that we all are connected today for the CX webinar.
Hmm.
Hi guys, this is Piyush. I lead the product team, the customer support, customer success, as well as the category team at Zozo. Zozo are an 8-year-old organization. We primarily deal in reward, incentives, and payouts. And we help customer success organizations to motivate their employees and make sure that the CX experience is good for the end user.
Interesting. So I think let me set the context of our conversation. What we're gonna have. So we're gonna talk about customer experiences industry. We all know that this industry has made a shift, and new technologies have been introduced. So, but we all know that all behind all of these technologies, there is a role of human brain. So we are starting with the first question, the most obvious one. As you know, our SaaS industry has changed a lot, specifically in customer experience domain. So in last 4 5 years, customers are more focused on aesthetics, values, experiences that they get. So I want to know your learnings at Cyro and your learnings as Zozo de Piyush, like how you dealt with all of these approaches at your company, starting with Rajesh.
See, one of the main lessons we have learned in the past few years is that businesses needs to be flexible to survive market conditions. So whether good or bad. So as a customer service partner, so at Cyro, to a variety of companies uh, through the pandemic, so even we have to adapt the situation and cater to our client needs. So Cyro CSAS model directly takes into consideration volatile and rapidly fluctuating market conditions, and it allows businesses to scale, as per up and down. They can upgrade and downgrade as per the requirements. And in the past, we normally worked according to a dedicated model, the way every customer support or a BPO company operates like a full-time resources, and which doesn't provide any flexibility. So, but with CSAS, we can offer better flexibility to enable economical outsourcing, especially during off-season times when companies are often forced to pay more for customer support than they should. So an omni-channel customer support, a CSAS-based customer support to provide optimum customer experience is a unique key differentiator. So it allows to present tailored packages on a limited or a retainer basis and also customize to our clients, based on their budgets. So based on their budget allocation in the CX. So and also I would say, customer management is a niche vertical, right? Also, it depends, I would say it's kind of, it demands time and focus for their business to get it right. And our model, we ensure that companies can focus on their core business activity and not to worry about, customer support hassles and either building up the right sort of team or, investing in the right sort of technology. And they need not have to do any sort of a micromanagement. So, and they can save a lot of time and effort, and also I would say money. So
Interesting. How about you, Piyush?
Yeah. So I think I would say let's go to the basics. What is the customer support? Your some user of your service, maybe a B2C, B2B or a SaaS product, is looking for a help. And that help can be provided on a real-time basis via a tool or it can be provided in multiple ways. And for all of these things, some things you can automate and you can give a real-time response where a Cyro kind of a tool or other the chatbot kind of a tool helps. And the second way is a human touch. And in the human touch, you need people, trained people, you need people who can sympathize, empathize, and give a right response to the person who is seeking for help. So if you look at this way, the business goal is also to help customer. So at the end of the day, you need to help customer in some or the other way. And it is important that the person who is helping the end customer needs to be motivated. And that's where Zozoday as a company comes into the picture. And that's where we have seen success not only at Zozoday but with our customers also, wherein the person who is helping the end user, if he is motivated in some or the other way to solve the customer query or a customer problem in a better way, uh, he would be happy and the customer would be happy. So it is important that the person who is answering or responding to the query needs to be motivated and incentivized in a right manner. And that's where I think the biggest differentiator comes, because those are the people or those are the team members who are in the front line and helping the end customer. So I think motivation, intrinsic as well as extrinsic motivation, is the key factor to drive the business growth. And that's what we have been following at Zozoday with our customers.
That's great. I think my next question is only about this motivation and extrinsic and intrinsic behaviors. So, as you both know, that we are using many technologies like ticketing, ITSM, chatbots, many types of automation and AI to still gather the customer perspective. So, all of these technologies are handled by human beings working from their core at the back end. So, I want to know if, as an employee, I am getting 70 plus emails a day about customer queries. So, what quick indicators you predicted to manage your internal employee mindset and turn it into motivation still after them working long hours?
See,
Yeah,
Cyros, yeah, sure, sure, go ahead.
yeah, Rajesh. Yeah. So, on a lighter note, if a guy is getting 70 emails in a day and it is a server, then it's fundamentally a product problem, I would say. But having said that, it is still important that though there is a product problem or there is some surge in the market or surge in the queries, this guy has to patiently take care and manage this. So that's where the ownership and the motivation comes into the picture. So that's where the tool also becomes efficient, wherein if there is a 70 tickets and if there is a repeated pattern, and that's where the AI or ML part comes into the picture, wherein you analyze the ticket and you bucketize it in such a way that, hey, these are the recurring issues and can I set some automation there? And that's where tools like Cyro would be of great help, wherein those tools should be able to analyze the pattern and draft an automated response after learning some or the other behavior that this kind of an issue, this is a repeated query that is coming, so this is the right response right now that needs to be automated. So a tool, a manual touch, and a motivation factor combined can help to manage this employee, wherein tool is helping him to automate. He doesn't have to spend long hours. At the same time, he's understanding the pattern and in communicating with the internal team to make sure that the resolutions are given on a time and in an appropriate.
Rajesh, any thoughts on this?
See, in fact, what Piyush is absolutely right. I mean, I would probably say, kind of Cyros, AI plus human-powered CSaaS model is designed, not only for beneficial to our clients, but also our employees, right? So, because we as a customer support, we're purely into this, right? So, we daily, day in and out, we deal the situations. So, in a situation where an agent is overwhelmed with the emails on a daily basis, like 70 players, or we are able to scale that client's account to add more agents to the team, and in a matter of hours. See, that is again a CSAS that I was saying. So another way to deal with such a scenario is by automating the process by segregating into, I would say, like general, specific, crucial categories. So this determines when and if human intervention is necessary, right? So we also assist our clients, each and every client by suggesting or providing detailed FAQs. So that results in a lesser amount of emails being sent to them. And even our agents are provided with the advanced training and also knowledge bank, which is we also have a KB base which been maintained by each and every agent, which has been already there in the tech. So for easy, quick and access, quick and easy resolutions during times of heavy traffic or even at a crisis. So I would say every small or a big effort made by our employees is always recognized in some manner. So by encouraging, words or appreciation posts, which we share regularly over social media, and top performers are identified. And I would say, we always mention that and encourage. So we give them those certificates, perks to recognize their achievements, and we are also open to, give the promotion based ability. Instead of we don't whenever we share the IGPs, it has nothing to do with the tenure. It's always based on the ability that we always choose. And while gifts, of course, I would say, gifts and rewards are offered on a special occasions and milestone.
Compensation and performance of that particular employee. So, when it comes to motivation, like what is the genesis of delight that you want to offer or would like to offer to your employees to keep the customer experience engine running?
See, it is a common knowledge that agitated, it's like, overstressed, overworked or stress advisors cannot be expected to be polite and calm and responsive, right? So at Cyro, we take steps to ensure, kind of a positive work environment, and we always address employee concerns at the earliest, right? So we have some sort of grievances where it doesn't take a longer time. So customer support is a high pressure industry, I would say, and we are aware of the stress our advisors can experience. So I would like to share, some of the practices that we follow to ease their stress, and I would say, like, training and familiarizing, with them on our clients' business, so that they're not caught or unaware, when they face the customers. So when somebody has a good product knowledge and they're very confident of facing the end customer, right? That's what we believe in. And I would say, maintaining a relatively, like I said, flat hierarchy and approachable leadership team, and ensuring, shared responsibilities, and offering flexible work from home or remote working models during especially during these pandemic times, and supporting them with the right kind of technology and infrastructure, and so that there's a minimal downtime and no differences in work culture or systems. So when remote working, as compared to a normal office functioning. And I would say, regular training and employment engagement activities to work on their weaknesses and encourage their strengths. And practical work timings, during downtime, we utilize automated systems, that escalate selected matters to a senior agent. But most of the time, our advisors work on daytime shifts. So unless it's assigned to an international account. And I would strongly say, like, e-coffee meets today. E-coffee meets to boost morale of the advisors so that they don't miss, the team interactions or support, that bonding with the superiors. And surprise gifts, of course, we are sent to them directly, I mean, digitally or physically, that we do. And certificates, perks, promotions, and recognitions via social media. So these things, of course, we follow, sir. So they should
Uh,
obviously, keep them motivated all the time. Yeah.
in terms of just ahead of your conversation, in terms of a way or a traditional way of rewarding or maybe gifting to your employees, what would you choose in between? Like, would it be digital rewarding, or would it be a traditional way that we follow, like to send the gifts at their homes and all of these things? So, put some light on it, please.
Due to the young nature of our workspace, so we prefer to give digitally. So though we don't completely shy away from traditional gifting, employee feedback is thrown light on the fact that our employees prefer digital gift cards. So that's all I would like to add it.
Okay. My same question would be with Piyush as well.
Can you just please repeat the question? I was facing some network issue.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to motivation, what is the genesis of delight that you offer to your employees to keep the customer experience engine running? And when it comes to these rewards, what would you choose in terms of traditional gifting or digital rewarding that we follow?
Okay. So I think I would add one more thing here. So I think there is we believe on instant gratification. That instant gratification can be in two forms. One, you could give them a monetary uh, gratification, or you can give them a non-monetary gratification as well. So consider if an agent has received an appreciation from a customer, then you announce it publicly. So we used intranet kind of a tool. So one of the tool that we use is called as an Impulse, and there are many organizations who use tools such as Bonus League, or they would use tools such as Microsoft Teams, Impulse, where they would announce this in front of the entire organization in digital way that hey, this end user has or this employee has done a good work, and this is a feedback that he has received. So it is not a monetary gratification or a reward to the user, but it feels him appreciated. It feels him recognized that somebody is recognizing his work. It also has to do with the cultural aspect. So the manager is not the person who should always recognize the efforts of an agent, but it could be either a sales guy, because in a B2B case, most of the time, if there is a issue and if there is an escalation or if there is a high priority issue, the customer would reach out to the account manager or the key account manager, and the key account manager will reach out to the CS team or the CS agent that hey, can you please and help here. And if the end you if the agent has helped this customer in a very within an SLA and within a very short period of time, then it is a job also of a sales guy to appreciate this agent publicly. So you drive a cultural change in the organization, wherein you don't only motivate by giving a monetary reward, but you give them a non-monetary reward. You appreciate them in a public in front of the entire organization in a digital fashion through intranet kind of a tool. And at the same time, monetary reward does make sense. So in a quarter or a monthly meeting, you track the data and you reward the end user with a monetary value. It could be give them a reward of choice, give them some digital currency, which they can use to buy what they would want to buy, either a gift card of a different brand or an experience or an insurance or a merchandise or something else. So that's how we as an organization appreciate our employees, specifically the customer support agents. At the same time, we insist our customer to follow this fashion, because monetary award doesn't work every time. You need a non-monetary mechanism, and clubbing of those or a right balance of monetary and non-monetary reward helps an individual to be motivated and perform in a way where the business goals are being met.
So, I'm curious myself. What are your learnings and impact that you got after implementing this global and digital rewarding solution at your company in respect of your employees?
So I think it has helped us a lot, Shubham, I would say. The reason being, if you have a global scale, then your employees who are working in different geographies can, for a buyer of the product or for a reward owner or the reward program owner, it helps them to work only with one partner who can help their digital reward at a scale. At the same time, when you provide different kind of options to the end user for the redemption, in terms and considering that the user has received a digital currency and he could use on multiple choice, if he's planning a vacation outside the country, he can buy something from the reward currency that he has received. And there are multiple use cases. From the operations perspective, also it helps the reward manager. From the employee perspective, it gives him a choice, and because of the global scale, he can do whatever he wants to.
My same question would be from Rajesh that what are your key learnings and impact that you got after implementing this solution that is specifically for your employees and is meant to be in digital fashion?
See, digital solution in terms of employee rewards and giftings, are becoming more popular among the HR sectors. So they are convenient and transparent and easy to share and spend, especially amongst the younger workforce, because that's what we have it in the CX. And when our employees are happy, I would always believe that when they're happy, they in turn keep our clients satisfied, the end user satisfied by giving their best. So it's a natural for an employee base, with high job satisfaction that will actually result in more positive CX for that company. And we have actually discovered through experience that consistent rewards work better than annual hikes. So because that's something which we always prefer, and engaging and retaining our top employees is a a top priority. And I would say the best and most popular employee rewards are in the form of merchandise and traveling coupons for tickets and accommodation. So these are the things. And lastly, also, employees feel valued when they're rewarded, and this motivates them every single day. So they show good performance, like I said, and are keen to take more responsibility. They will have the proactive approach. And even when the business is slow, and your valued employees will stick with you through the bad times. So, hence a digital reward platform is ideal for the current employee base, occupational situation, and also employee needs.
This line really hits me that uh, behavioral based rewarding is something which is very valuable rather than providing annual based or maybe perform. In continuation to this, if I draw a line for this for you, Rajesh, if I draw a line with one side is an expense and other side is a necessity. So at Fyro, what side you are with these motivating rewards? Would you consider this reward as a necessity or would you consider this as an expense?
I would consider that as an investment. So we completely, support the employee reward system as a means to encourage and motivate our teams. And it is considered to be more of an investment, rather than an expense, I would say. And enhancing employee experience on a constant basis can take time. Planning and resources and finding the right sort of rewards is also equally important. An automated employee rewards and recognition program, can be set up in seconds and is efficient in delivering instant rewards on every special occasion. This will definitely cut down on our expenses and keep the reward system flowing easily. Because what happens, your cost per hire is again a cost to the company, right? So that way, I don't consider this as an expense. This is, of course, investment. In fact, all types of training and employee engagement activities and rewards are the investment rather than an expense. As the human advisors, play an integral role in the customer service experience. So
And my same question would be with Piyush. Do you want me to repeat the question, Piyush?
No, no, I'm clear. So I think I would echo with Rajesh comment that it is an investment rather than expense, and the organization who would look employer rewarding as an expense will phase out very soon. And we have seen this as an history where if you don't uh, consider employee well-being or employee motivation as an investment, then you would be very soon out of business. So I think I go with Rajesh thought pretty much here. I think it's an investment, and it's an investment that you have to do every day. It is not a monthly job or a quarterly or a 6 months job.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
a daily investment the way you do a daily investment on your health. It's a daily investment that you have to do in your rewarding. And I would touch back to the same that it has not to be monetary every time. It can be non-monetary also. So both of them, monetary and non-monetary, what are the investment that you have to do on a daily basis to make sure that the employees are motivated?
Interesting. So I think now when both of the companies, Zuzude and Cyro, both of the companies are from at least in customer experience domain are at least at 0 to 1, right? So to go from 1 to 100 or maybe 1 to 10, what are your top three advices would be for someone who is still juggling in the 0 to 1 phase, who is still setting up the customer experiences?
I would say stop doing what you're doing immediately. That's my first advice. So they have to stop doing what they're doing immediately because that is the first and foremost advice. And second, I would say they need to hire a professional customer support agency, to gather their customer feedback, and gauge their current CX, which is something very important. And that's the second piece of advice. Third, I would say prepare a strategy to combat your current problems. And I would say the best way outsource is implementation. It's a cheaper, better streamlined, and more professional. And with Cyro CSAS model, it's a cost effective as well. That's a third piece of advice.
So uh, I think for organizations who are looking from who have passed on 0 to 1 and now wants to grow from 1, I think first and foremost thing they have to adopt the tools. Okay, in 0 to 1 stage, you can live life without the tools. You can manage everything on an Excel sheet and everything. But when you grow from 1 to above, you need tools like Cyro. who can help you to gather feedback, to analyze and do much more things at a scale rather than the things or the tools that you were using at 0 to 1. So I would say that tools and automations are the critical thing that you need to adopt if you want to scale. That would be advice number one. Second, you need to respect people. You need to create a culture in your organization where every time the way you want to keep your customers happy, you need to make sure that your employees are happy. Because if your employees are happy, then only your customers are going to be happy. That's the second thing that I would say needs to be done if you want to grow from one and beyond. And the third thing I would say that you need to have a right checks and balances in the place, and it would more or less tie up with the cultural part into the thing because uh, what happens normally is when you grow from one and above, leadership team or the founding team like us would think that things are going out of control. Okay, they would want to be into each and everything. So you need to empower the people, which is a part of a cultural aspect, but you need to empower the people. So as soon as you start empowering your people, as soon as you give them a freedom to try out their ideas, it will help you to grow in a multiple fashion. I think these are the three advice that I would give to any organization who's looking for one and above scale.
See, like Piyush
Interesting,
said,
I think.
it's always good. I mean, yeah, sorry for the interruption, Shivam.
Please
Like
go ahead,
Piyush
please
said,
go ahead.
the kind of, it's really good, Piyush. I mean, you should always say that you give that, room, that space for them to come back and then approach when they have an ideas, which is always a good for a companies to come back and then approach. If we don't give that, maybe we miss out those ideas, right? Because
Exactly.
they do it at the ground level. That's when we understand the frontline issues of it. Otherwise, we
Yeah.
will never understand, and that will not be a value proposition to the company as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I think these the reflections that Piyush and Rajesh, both of you suggested, I think these are something which also reflects your own company's culture and your culture as a person, human being as well. So, to all the attendees, I would say you can ask n number of questions, and we have kept 10 minutes at the end of webinar separately to discuss and to answer your questions. Just last round, and this is very interesting for at least me, and would be interesting for you, I hope. So this is a rapid fire round wherein I'll ask three questions from each of you, and you have to respond in one word. So starting with Piyush,
Interesting.
technology. Yeah, starting with Piyush, technology or human for customer experience.
Hybrid.
Okay, Rajesh.
Humans.
Okay. This is for Rajesh. Favorite company handling customer experiences better?
Of course, Sairo.
Piyush,
I would say Apple.
that's really commendable. Acquisitions or retention? Piyush.
Acquisitions or retentions. I would say retentions.
Rajesh.
Retention.
Great. This sums up our webinar, and I think we can now take the questions if we have any. Priya, do we have any questions? Even if we do not have, even if we do not have any questions, this webinar would be on demand from now, and this would be uploaded on our social channels as well as would be available on our website as well. I think thank you for both of your time, Rajesh and Piyush, to spread us about the customer experiences and to help to give the ideas to help the companies to enable their customer experiences from the first go, from 0 to 1.
Thanks, Shubham. Thanks for this.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Shubham. It was a pleasure.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you, Pierre.
Rajesh.
Thanks, Priya.
Thank you. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Rajesh.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.